Hi, every year technical industries lose millions of dollars, not because of bad strategy, but because of messy data. Welcome to the Data Edge, the podcast where we turn information into your greatest competitive advantage. I'm Erwin and I'm along with Stephanie Wiechers, CEO of Bearstop. We're stripping away the jargon to show you how to build a data foundation that actually works. From Microsoft Fabric to AI readiness. We're here to help you stop guessing and start leading with data. Let's dive in this week's episode. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you, Erwin.
So, in this third episode about data management, we have something special because you will tell us more about your results from a recent research that you did along real implementations with data and companies. So, that sounds really exciting.
So we have been executing a number of projects around data quality and data management. There is this intricate complexity in doing these types of projects because data quality is always the baseline, the foundational layer. Internally, we said to ourselves, what is the value that we are bringing? Is it data quality or is it actually something else? It's the next step that people do with this data quality or baseline. And what I decided to do is instead of trying to guess it, just ask. And in doing that, I called our clients and I sent some messages to their biggest competitors as well. And we did a range of CEO interviews discussing what are your actual problems? What are the risks and what are you afraid of? And what is your goal for 2026?
What are the most important findings that you got out of these interviews?
So one thing that everyone mentioned is in these technical industries, talent is disappearing. It's for two reasons that this is happening. The first one is people retire, and by that there just is this knowledge gap that is being created because as they retire, they take the knowledge that they have with them. And the other side of it is more on the younger people where there's just less interest in studying technical fields and technical vocations. So there are also issues in hiring new staff and onboarding them.
Yeah, that's a real challenge, of course. We see this in many aspects of the business. But I did not realize actually that's an important factor also if you think about data management and data quality. But it makes sense actually. So, were there other important things that were brought up by these C-level people?
Well, there were a number of important themes. The pricing power in these industries is under quite a lot of pressure. We see it in different international markets because basically, as a technical service provider, you always risk becoming commoditized.
Hmm.
And the way they want to handle these risks is by continuing to offer a high margin service. And then some other important things that we've seen is so there's heavy investments being done by some of the firms in digital and in Internet of Things solutions, which does carry a risk because if adoption lags, then also your return on investment will lag expectations.
Okay, so, and what you said, so to get rid of the commoditization threat, if you will, does it mean then that having more insights in your data, doing data management, data quality actually is a contribution also to the kind of services that they can deliver?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's interesting.
But the way that we see organizations solve for this is that when they're able to create this more insightful data layer, they're able to break down silos between between teams and after they've done acquisitions in new firms that are becoming part of the company. And by breaking down the silo, they're then able to create these insights, which now they can use as an advice to give to their clients.
So basically, they start seeing things that they could not see before, if I say it in simple words.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, that's cool.
So maybe to give a
Yeah,
really
maybe an
concrete
example.
example, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are servicing a specific type of machine, then we will have a whole database, and all the information is logged on how often does our mechanic go here. But the big advantage is now that you don't have this for just this one instance of the machine. You have it for maybe 10 or maybe even 100 of these exact same machines with this exact same time in operations that you have under service. And so now you have this opportunity to compare between clients what's happening
Mhm.
and to compare how many service calls are we making. And there's a twofold advantage in that. So first of all, of course, mechanics that go and do the service on the same product, they have a competitive advantage because they'll be quicker. They know where to look, they know where to find the things, and they know the common errors. When you're a large organization, you might have different locations, right? So you don't always have
Mm.
that same mechanic that goes to the same place. And so in breaking down these silos and getting this data really organized, it's actually possible to extract some best practices and to have all of those notes just at your fingertips. So now next time you are, let's say your mechanics in the Netherlands have serviced all these machines and now you're doing the same thing in Germany, then you want to bring this together, have an automated translated note, which gives the mechanic, like, boom, on their phone, an overview of, hey, these are some common pitfalls and some common errors in this machine, and this is how to solve them.
So here, there's also collaboration come to into effect if you talk about different teams in different countries, locations. So that for bigger companies, that will be a really advantage. Is this something that is your strategy, or did you also hear from these interviews that the C-level people that they understand that data can have a contribution to their competitive advantage?
More and more. Yeah. And that really surprised me in a positive way. I had hoped that this would be the case.
Hmm.
And my original hypothesis going into the interviews was that all of the C-level people would say, hmm, data, I have nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
And so there was of course a certain level to how technical you're going to convey your story. And so they did all say, hey, if you're just talking about the word data alone, that doesn't mean anything to me. But then when we
Mm.
go into data quality and data management, there's already a little bit of warming up. Then when we go one step further, when we talk about creating the flexibility to work with multiple products and to have an team of analysts and to work with different AI products, that was where it really came to life.
Okay. And can you also give a second example? The first one was quite strong and yeah, I think people can recognize that. And do you have another example that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so on the data quality point, we've had one company that are really exhausting the opportunity of flexibility to work with one data set. So they have been really focused on asset data, so all of the assets under management, and they've been talking about a multi-step approach where the first value add is around how do we service this client better? So what can we predict and what do we know about what's going on? So that's moving towards or moving actually away from being a commodity. But then the next phase that they foresee is after that is completely organized and the processes for that are in place, then every new client will still give a list of all of these assets that are to be serviced. And now, if you combine that, so that's again breaking down silos with a commercial team, then you have gold in hands.
This sounds really appealing, and thank you so much for sharing this insights from your recent research work. And actually, for the next week, I would like to dive deeper into the transition, how to turn your data in a competitive advantage. So then we will focus more on the strategies that you can use as a company to make this happen. I'm really looking forward, and it's good news that from the market already we see this recognition, right? That the connection between data and strategy. So that is really promising.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a really exciting topic, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, Stephanie, so much thank you for today's contribution. And well, we'll see you next week, and also all the listeners. Don't forget to ask questions or give some feedback if you have anything to share or would like to drop in a topic that we can also discuss during this podcast. That will be very welcome. And then for now,
Thank you.
I say thank you and bye.
Bye.